Dr. Tushar Patel, welcome again to ITV Gold. I hope you're doing well today.
Thank you so much, Aditi, for getting me back again.
Of course, we have to have you because there's, again, so much happening in the nation, and I want to go right into coronavirus measures and updates with you here. Let's start by looking at some numbers that are coming in today as of Monday. In the United States, we have surpassed 24 million cases of COVID-19. We're at 398,000 deaths. It's approaching 400,000 very soon. Globally, we are looking at 95.2 million cases, and deaths have surpassed 2 million. My question to you is, could you describe to me what is happening at these overwhelmed hospitals and why are they not able to contain this virus right now?
So we discussed this before. United States has no national healthcare plan to respond to the pandemic. And we have been struggling for almost a year now since late January. We don't have the message for our people, consistent message to mitigate, to control the virus. There is no guideline. There is a guideline, but each state is following their own guidelines. So I think those are the multiple factors in this increase, plus the Thanksgiving holidays, Christmas holidays, New Year. I think all the traveling also accumulating the new cases. And we are right now in the darkest days of this pandemic right now.
Yes. Dr. Patel, today the CDC incoming director, Dr. Walensky, is predicting 500,000 deaths by mid-February. Your comments on it?
Absolutely. And I predicted this during our couple of interviews back that we may definitely reach close to 500,000 deaths in the US. And I think we are heading to that direction. Very sad scenario for our country, but that is the reality because people don't follow the public health guidance, and that is the big reason of this surge.
Hospitals in California are getting overwhelmed. We're hearing news of Arizona as well. When they're saying overwhelmed, Dr. Patel, what is the condition of these hospitals? What are you hearing?
So in the past couple of weeks back, there was a huge crisis in the LA hospitals. The number of cases and admissions and the ICU admissions, they were lacking the resources. They were triaging who should live and who should die. So those are not the way we provide healthcare in this country. And I think very sad situation for our country that we have to go through this as a nation of healthcare leader. We are in this bad situation right now.
Yes, Dr. Patel, there's another thing that I want to discuss with you here. We see about 4,000 deaths per day and about 200,000 new cases of COVID-19. When will this stop?
So right now, we are only at 5% for the vaccine administration. So until we reach 30, 40, 50,000, we start getting some difference. Right now, the issue is people needs to follow the guidelines. If they don't follow the guidelines of traveling, air travel, by road travel, public places restrictions, if we don't do this will continue for a long time. And unless we reach that 70-80% vaccination rate, this country will be in huge trouble. And I just want to give you one more stat. Between January and October 2020, we had 9 million cases. And between November 2020 and now, in less than 3 months, we had 14.5 million new cases. So that tells you where we're heading.
Yes, for sure. What is your prediction for the months of February and March? Are we going to see something similar to what we saw last year in New York City?
I think it has been already there for many of the states in the USA. And I predict definitely next few months until end of March, we will definitely see the surge, 4,000, 5,000 deaths, also 100,000, 200,000 new cases every single week.
What are you right now missing in the healthcare system at this point, especially when you're looking at cases and deaths? What do some of these states need to do right now?
So, like I said before, and I have been telling this since day one from our interviews, lack of healthcare infrastructure and national planning. We don't have a national planning. Even with the vaccination, we don't have national planning. So that is the first thing we need to do. We need to let everyone know that what are we trying to do and how we're going to mitigate and control this virus. So that is the first thing we should be doing, and we are 9-10 months behind on that.
Oh, wow. Let's talk about the vaccine, Dr. Patel. I'd first like to ask you, how was your experience getting it and what vaccine you got? And then we'll go more explanation into what's happening with the vaccine rollout.
So the original plan to have 20 million people vaccinated, 40 million doses by end of December. Right now, as of today, we had distributed 31 million doses and administered between 10 and 14 million people. So that's only 5% of the total population. There are 2 doses, only 1.6 million people received the vaccination so far. The good news is for last few days, we have close to 900,000 doses given every single day. So that is a good news. But the production, the ramping up, the rollout, all needs to be well coordinated between the federal and the state governments.
That's for sure. What vaccine did you receive, Dr. Patel?
I did not receive it yet. I'm still on the waiting list to get the vaccine, and I'm hoping to get that within next couple of weeks due to my status of phase 1B. I should be getting that within next few weeks. But there is a huge challenge of the vaccine distribution because there should be a national plan, and the ramping up, the production, the rollout, the distribution, all has to be well coordinated. And if we don't have that, there are a lot of people wants to take the vaccination, rightfully so, but they don't have access right now. And that is the sad part.
How are you looking at Moderna and Pfizer right now? I've been asking doctors this question. Do you see a big difference between which vaccine we should receive? And also, following that, I'd like to know your take on what's happening with AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson.
So let's talk about the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine. There should not be any preference. Whoever is getting the vaccine and whatever is provided to them, they should be taking that. Both vaccines are similarly effective. Sometimes the immune response from the individual can cause the local reaction, the mild fever, body ache. Those are the normal symptoms, and nobody should be discouraged from those. The vaccination coming in the pipeline, J&J is on their 3rd phase of trial right now, and hopefully they will submit the emergency authorization by early February.
Yes, for sure. AstraZeneca has been approved in India, but I don't know if it has been approved in the United States. Any insight into what's happening there?
So AstraZeneca's right now, nowhere in the near future, they will be finishing the phase 3 trial for the US. I think the criteria for the safety and efficacy for the CDC and the FDA, they do not follow their guidelines, and they don't have that in place at this time. Compared to J&J, they do have that in place. They are already enrolled 45,000 people, and hopefully they will be finishing the phase 3 trial by end of this month. So I think I see J&J, Johnson & Johnson vaccine first, then the AstraZeneca.
But why has that then been approved in different countries, Dr. Patel?
I think United States has a different set of criteria for the safety and efficacy and approval, and I think that could be the reason. I think their data shows less than 70% safety and efficacy. It could be that. It could be they haven't finished the entire study for the US population.
Looking more at our motherland real quick, India has started its vaccination process too. AstraZeneca is one of the vaccines they're giving, but they're also giving this vaccine called Bharat Biotech. It's something that has been produced there. Any insight into that?
I think anything approved in India is also clinically efficacious and safety wise is already weighted by their scientists and by the regulations. I would not discourage anyone to challenge that. I think India also has a wonderful system of control of the vaccination, and all I can request that whenever they have the vaccine available to them, without question, they should take the vaccine. The mild side effects are already a good sign to have. So I would not discourage anyone to challenge any vaccination coming to them whenever they get the vaccine.
I have more vaccine related questions here. There was a news with many experts saying that the second dose should be used as first dose for others instead of waiting for it, instead of holding it for the second dose for the other patients. How are you looking at this? Should second dose be given to others that still haven't been vaccinated, or should it be saved for the ones that have already gotten the first inoculation?
So we should stay with the approval criteria. So this vaccine is only give 94% or 95% effective if you receive the two dose vaccine in 3 weeks or 4 weeks time frame, depending on what vaccine do you take. If you only take one vaccine now and don't take the second dose if you delay the second dose, it may not be fully effective. So I think the government has to decide. They need to ramp up the production. They need to have more vaccines produced by these companies and distributed to the state as quickly as possible, because by giving one dose, we're only giving half of the safety and efficacy we required.
In order to, President-elect Joe Biden on his agenda has said that he will vaccinate 100 million people in his first 100 days. My question is, do you think it's possible at the speed that you're seeing the vaccination process right now?
So with the national planning, with the national strategic planning of vaccine distribution, vaccine inoculation, it can be done. And one thing I would like to add is vaccination is the only acceptable path to herd immunity, and we cannot drop the ball now. $23 billion for the Operation Warp Speed happen. We need to do whatever it takes. We need to have the arenas, the expo centers, the stadiums, the community centers, drive-in vaccination centers open. Local pharmacies needs to be given the vaccination access so they can vaccinate their own community. Those are the steps I think Biden administration is looking to get that 100 million doses in 100 days. So if that plans work, then we will be in good shape.
You know, the healthcare system right now is so overwhelmed, Dr. Patel. With this new incoming administration, what are your expectations when you're looking at this healthcare crisis?
I think they need to have some national guidance to the states. They need to relax some criteria for getting the vaccine. Which pharmacy, which hospital, which healthcare institutions get the vaccine doses. I think they need to relax those. They need to distribute whoever can provide the vaccination, because as you know, there are a lot of healthcare professionals in the hospital setting. They are still struggling with the pandemic. They are still struggling with the daily issues with the cases. You cannot rely on those individuals to vaccinate people on a larger scale. So that is the whole reason we need to expand this vaccination program to other areas, pharmacy, the community centers, and get all the hands on deck. Whoever is available in the healthcare should go and vaccinate these individuals.
More vaccine questions coming here, Dr. Patel. What is your take on the immunity from these vaccines? Are we about 95% immune if that's the efficacy of these vaccines?
Yes. So let's say if someone received both doses, the chances for that individual to get 95% immune within 7 to 30 days is very good. So in my opinion, if you get 2 vaccines, the time frame provided, your chances of getting immune within that 7 to 30 days up to the second dose.
What are the chances of contracting coronavirus after the vaccine?
So the low viral load still remains in some individuals. It's not proven yet. It's not enough studies done. But I would highly recommend those individuals who took the vaccine don't come into the false sense of security that they are safe and not spreading the virus to others. So they still need to be following the public health guidance, avoid the crowded places, and wearing the mask.
Well, if somebody has already contracted coronavirus, Dr. Patel, and it has recovered from that, they must have some immunity in their system, as has been told by you before and many other doctors. Should they be getting this vaccine? How are you looking at that?
They should be getting the vaccine because we don't know the immune response from the infection itself, how effective is that, and that study still needs to be done. So I highly recommend those individuals who were positive, recovered from the infection, should take the vaccine as soon as their turn comes in.
And what happens if 70 to 80% actually gets vaccinated?
So after 70 to 80% of the vaccination happens in this country, what happens? The virus replication stop. It doesn't get any more. So let's say if somebody gets the infection today, that individual can give the infection to someone else, but that someone else cannot give the vaccine because the other individuals already get immunity from the vaccination itself. So this is like breaking the chain of infection. So once you have enough people vaccinated in this country, about 70-80%, you cannot have that chain going on, which is going on right now, which is only 5% of people got the vaccine.
I have a couple more questions here for you. How are you looking at the tri-state, Dr. Patel? We were the epicenter last year. Around this time is when it all started. Actually, before that, should we be worried?
So right now, in my opinion, the darkest days are ahead of us. Next 2 months is going to be a very, very challenging for our tri-state area. Vaccination is not a silver bullet. Everybody needs to get the vaccine before they start getting that safety. So right now, we all have to be careful what we do, our behavior, our daily practices, wearing masks, avoiding the crowded places. All those things still apply right now. And if we can do that as a team, if we become a team of our community, then definitely we can have the good days coming in April and spring onwards.
Dr. Patel, what is required for a shutdown right now? If it's the worst case scenario, what will bring that shutdown into the country again?
I don't think we need a shutdown. I think people need to understand that the virus is still here, the pandemic is still on, and there is no difference between last April and right now in January. We are still in the same boat. The only difference, the healthcare providers knows what is going on with this virus. They knows how to treat this disease. There are some medications available right now to reduce the complications and reduce the mortalities. But the overall getting the infection and dying still remains the same. So I think we still need to be very careful what we do on a daily basis.
Yes, so important to keep those CDC guidelines in your hand. How are you looking at testing and therapeutics right now? Are we testing enough so far?
I think so. I think finally we got some hold on testing and the therapeutics both. So I think that is a good news that a lot of testings are available. Whoever wants to get the testing, it's open to them. Medications are available if somebody is seriously sick in the hospital. So those are some good news. But we still need to follow reducing the infection. And if we don't reduce the infection under 10,000 per day, we're still going to be seeing these big numbers on upcoming weeks.
Wow. I just have two more questions left here for you, Dr. Patel. How are you looking at high-risk patients right now with the vaccine coming in, the rollout happening? What should they be doing right now, people that have heart diseases, lung diseases, diabetes, and other comorbidities?
So after the healthcare workers and the long-term care facilities, all people above 65 with chronic medical conditions, cardiac disease, pulmonary disease, diabetes, and other chronic medical conditions should be prioritized to get the vaccine as soon as possible. And the next one would be between ages of 16 and 64 with all those conditions. So I think we need to somehow prioritize this and get this done as quickly as possible, because if we don't do this, it's gonna take about 6 to 9 months before we reach that 70 to 80% of herd immunity.
Oh, wow, we have a lot ahead of us. Finally, my last question to you is two-part. What are you worried about the most right now, and what's your biggest advice that you can give our audience?
Our guards down is the biggest challenge. We cannot let our guards down. We need to be watching this virus. We need to be following the public health guidance. If we don't do this, we will get a lot of cases between now and end of March. We all need to be very careful in our daily practices. We must wear the mask. We must avoid the crowded places. We must avoid the public places. We must follow the social distancing guideline. And when the vaccine is available, don't question it. Take the vaccine. I think these are the few things. These are the final few months now in this pandemic. And if we don't do this, we will unnecessarily lose a lot of our friends and family.
I just hope everybody here listens to you, Dr. Patel. Thank you so much for your time again on ITV Gold.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.